Congressman Lawler, who's been an incredible leader in the House on this, is a great friend of United Against Nuclear Iran and one of the most knowledgeable members on the Hill, is going to come up and speak to us on the Iran threat as well. Congressman Lawler, thank you, and thank you for your leadership. Good to see you. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. Good morning. And thank you to United Against Nuclear Iran and Ambassador Mark Wallace for hosting this important event and for your continued efforts to expose the Iranian regime's destabilizing activities. Your work is crucial, and I'm proud to stand with you in defense of our national security and that of our allies. As chairman of the subcommittee on the Middle East and North Africa, I'm committed to ensuring that we confront the threats posed by Iran head-on, both to the United States and to our key allies in the region, like Israel, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and others who face constant aggression from Tehran and its proxies. The Shahed 136 drone before us today is not just a weapon of war. It's a symbol of the threat we face from an Iranian regime that has no regard for international norms or the sovereignty of its neighbors. This is a regime that has empowered Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, and other extremist groups across the region, giving them the tools to target civilian infrastructure and military assets alike. And this drone is one of the tools that Tehran has used to perpetuate instability across the Middle East and in Europe. And I want to thank Ambassador for being here, and happy birthday, as well as our Polish friends and allies for helping secure this drone. From Yemen to Iraq, Syria, and beyond, Iranian drones and missiles have been used to attack and terrorize our allies and support our adversaries, including Russia, threatening the security of American interests and destabilizing critical energy routes. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader Iranian strategy to project power through terror and to sow discord among nations that share our values. We cannot afford to allow this to continue. The proliferation of these drones, funded by Iranian oil revenue and facilitated by weak sanctions enforcement by the Biden administration and the Obama administration, directly threatens our allies in the region, our partners in the Gulf who are on the front lines of Iran's aggression. I have been outspoken about the need for a tough bipartisan approach to Iran, and that's why I was proud in the last Congress to introduce and pass and get signed into law the SHIP Act and the Iran-China Energy Sanctions Act to crush the illicit oil trade between China and Iran that has fueled this reign of terror. It is what has funded their nuclear program, their ballistic missiles program, their drone capabilities. It has to stop. And it's why I've introduced in this Congress the Enhanced Iran Sanctions Act, which will target the oil networks that allow Iran to fund its nuclear program and beyond. We need to choke off this resource at every turn. And we need to make sure that the Ayatollah and the Iranian regime do not fund their malign activities any further. It's also why I've worked with colleagues across the aisle to introduce a resolution countering Iran's nuclear pursuit, making it clear that Iran's efforts to acquire nuclear weapons would have grave consequences, not just for the Middle East, but for global security. And Senator Cruz spoke in great detail about this. But the fact is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran cannot be allowed to enrich uranium, period. There can be no equivocation on this. And we must be resolute. Either Tehran will agree to end their nuclear ambitions or they won't, but one way or the other, they will not have the ability to have a nuclear weapon. That is their choice, how that gets done. Let's be clear, Iran's actions are not confined to one country or one conflict. They threaten the entire region. and we cannot stand idly by as Iran continues to fuel and fund instability and violence around the globe. And so to my colleagues in Congress, I say it's time to act decisively. We must enforce stronger sanctions and give President Trump and his administration the tools to do it, to cut off Iran's oil revenue and hold accountable the entities and countries that continue to enable the regime's aggression. The United States must lead in this effort. It is not Israel's fight alone. This is a fight for peace and stability around the globe, and it is our responsibility to lead in that effort. To the American people, your representatives in Congress are committed to ensuring that we take every step necessary to protect our national security and defend our allies. And I want to thank Chairman Mast for his leadership as chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, along with many of my colleagues who have led in this effort. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank Ambassador Wallace for his leadership. And I want to thank United Against Nuclear Iran for hosting this great event today to provide the American people with firsthand look at Iran's drone technology and the death and destruction that it has wrought. It must be stopped, and it must be stopped today.